everybody. Welcome to SharePoint Power Hour. I'm Laura Rogers, and this is our weekly show we do on Wednesdays at 11 Central. Today is our 6th anniversary of SharePoint Power Hour. Woohoo! How exciting, right? Can you believe it? The show's changed so much over 6 years, and so 6 years ago, Joelle and I worked somewhere else, and we were had a whole other team of people that we worked with, and we're on Power Hour together, and we would all kind of take turns doing demos and things like that. So a lot's happened since then. We have our own company, IW Mentor, and but we've evolved. So yeah, happy 6-year birthday, Power Hour. Okay, so fun thing about SharePoint Power Hour is that it's live. You never know what's going to happen, and we have this live chat going on. So, and usually Joelle's here. Joelle's not here today. So we use Slack for our chat. So it is iwmentor.slack.com, and if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever you happen to be, most likely that I put a link at the bottom in the description to, first of all, if you've already joined, you just log into Slack, and if you have never joined, I have a form for you to fill in, and then I have to manually invite everybody and accept all the requests. So the fun thing about the chat is that it's just interactive. We can ask questions and have discussions. Just all, we have our little group of regulars in here. It's a lot of fun. So today's topic is going to be this thing called shifts in Teams. So there used to be this Microsoft sort of part of Office 365 called Staff Hub that was a separate little app in Office 365. Staff Hub's retired now, and they've moved it to Teams, and it's called Shifts. So this concept of shifts is the ability to, this whole big built-in app to allow you to create a bunch of shifts and assign shifts to your workers. And you can have this concept of open shifts, which lets you just have a list of open shifts and let people pick which shifts they want to work in, and just a lot of different there are options for people to be able to request time off and to be able to request to trade shifts with other people. And of course, it's all in the Teams mobile app, and it's got a really cool interface in there too. So let's see. All right, so let me go ahead, and I don't know if someone said it's kind of laggy or slow. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not running any other applications on my computer, so I think we're good. You all let me know if there are any serious issues with my video. Okay, so now over in the general channel in Slack, I shared a couple of links. There's just more of a end user type of link to this is how you use shifts. And then there's a link that's got some things to do in Teams admin for shifts, and to turn it on to make sure that it exists in there. So I've already done the admin part, so this is not like an admin focused Power Hour. Maybe we'll go look at it towards the end, but I'm going to focus on shifts already being turned on and just using it and trying out. So this is like a whole new app that I had only just kind of poked around in a couple of times. So this demo today is more like, you consider it like an unboxing. So this is I've never seen it before. I'm just clicking around in here, trying stuff. So that's about how much I know about how this works in the long term. So I have never actually used this. I don't have a team that I assign shifts to. So I'm not going to know the ins and the outs and a lot of really intimate details about people using it, but we're trying it out, and we're going to show you what we know about how it works and what we figured out so far. So let me go ahead and share my desktop, and we're going to Teams. So when you go to Teams, I'm logged into my little demo tenant here. When you go to Teams, look over here. There are some little extra apps over here, and you can go to shifts. Again, you have to have it turned on in your tenant. So now I have this schedule. All right, so this is going to be, it's going to be blank to start off with. So you do have to create like this, the name of your schedule. So you're going to start off with creating a schedule, and you can create it in one of your existing teams. So see, when you create a schedule, that's the first thing you're going to have to do. So you can pick which existing team, you have to be the owner of one of them to be able to create a schedule. And you can see that I've already created one for the field office over here. And so I can pick one of these. So IW Mentor Training is the team that I already created one for. That's the one that I'm going to be demoing, but I'll just go look at another one. Let's see. I'll create one in case management. So I can say, when I create this new schedule, what is the local time? What time zone are they in? The people that are going to be using this schedule. So then it creates a team schedule, and then that's when I'll get this whole calendar interface. And I'm going to add groups of people. So it switched me over to this other schedule. I'm going to go flip back to the one that I'm doing my demo in. So this one's called IW Mentor Training. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to need groups of people. So you'll just have a big empty screen with just add group. And this is just a test. So this is my group, and then I can add another group. So groups are going to be your groups of people. So as soon as I give my group a name, I can add my people to the group. So who's on this team? So I can say, there's just a couple of people in here. Do I allow this person to create or update schedules? Are they an owner? Do they need to be an owner in this team? So I've added Alex. So for each person that you add, you determine whether that person needs to be the owner of that team. So Garth Fort, he's going to be the owner. So now I've got basically three different groups of people, and I can collapse them. So those are going to be your teams of people. So this is the one that I've been testing in, and I called it Wonder Team, and I added a bunch of people to it. So first of all, let's go look at some settings. All right. And then, so in our settings, right here, this is going to be the settings for this schedule. So remember, I can set up the time zone when I first set it up, and I tell it what the first day of the week is, and I allow employees on this team to view and request open shifts on the schedule. So this means that I'm going to have shifts that I'll create. I'll say, like, I have a shift that's like 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and I have a shift that's from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. or something like that. So I can, with that concept, I can have these open shifts where I just create what all the shifts are, and then I allow people to add people to these open shifts and kind of change them around and like trade shifts with people, and be able to pick which shifts that they want to be in. So when I have this open shifts, I'm not just assigning each shift to individual people. I have just open shifts that I can, people can come and go from them. That's what I've divulged from that. So, and then so for time off requests, so people can do requests for time off. And these are my little types of requests for time off. And so these are the defaults, and I can go add my own names of other time off, and I can delete these in this interface. Do I want to do time tracking and reporting? So this is kind of cool. This is, so before you get started with the time clock, it's going to have so I'll go ahead and show you what the little setup screen looks like for this. So I'll flip over to this new case management thing that I just created. So I'll go to the settings and see time tracking and reporting. It's not going to be turned on by default. So when you set it up, so it's mobile, clock in and clock out. So this means that people can be on their phone and they can clock in and clock out. So, and I was looking for the app to be able to share my phone screen with you on here, but I know it's on my computer somewhere, but I can't remember what it's called. So, but this concept is the ability for people to have the Teams, just the Teams app, the Teams mobile app, and to be able to clock in and say like I'm clocked in, and right now I'm clocked in, so I can stop my clock in, I could clock out anyway. So I might talk a little bit more about the details of that too. So to set this up, look at this. This is kind of big brothery, isn't it? I can do location detection. What do y'all think about that? So you can do location detection. I can just turn it on. Or before I turn it on, I can say, do I want location detection? So this means that whenever they clock in on their app, it's actually going to look to see if they're on location. So like this one right now, I just made up an address. I'm not at that address, but it says you're on the clock, but not on location. And when I click for details, it actually tells me my coordinates, my current coordinates, and tells me that my coordinates would need to be this at this address. So people are going to know that I'm clocked in and I'm not at work. Danny, I'm not sure. It's definitely, I think it definitely detects conflicts, but no, I haven't tried that. So we can try some of these things that you all are asking. Let's see. Yeah, you don't want them logging in, just being at home and logging in. Yeah. Okay. So I can, if I include location detection, then it's telling me it uses Bing Maps. And as soon as I check that box, it's going to tell me to tell it the address. I'll just say 1 Main Street, and it's going to just prompt me with all these different main streets. So I just pick that one. Now, when they're on their phone is then going to require that they allow Teams to know their location. So they have to actually allow that in their app settings. So then I can turn it on. All right, so now I have time tracking turned on, and I can even export this time reporting. So it'll give me this time range where I can export the clock in report for my team. Pretty cool, right? All right, so that's that exists for your time. So that's just all in the settings. So let me flip back over to this other schedule. So this is my schedule in this team called IW Mentor Training. Okay, so I have my open shifts. Let me just, hold on, let me just flip back to this sort of empty one so you can kind of tell what's going on. And then I'll go to the one that's filled out and kind of show you what it looks like, just to save some time. Yeah, Steve, you are so right about the Power App. So you know what the first thing I think when I see this app that Microsoft created is it's awesome and it does a lot of stuff, but people are immediately going to want to do just like a couple of things here and there that it doesn't do. And then that would be creating your own Power App from scratch and creating your own thing from scratch. And so it's kind of where you're going to weigh whether it's worth it to get that one little thing you want to spend all the time and money to create your own app for this, right? Okay, so here I don't have any groups yet. Yeah, Bruce, that's true. Why would reporting be in the settings tab? Okay, I'll call this test. So that's just one group of people. And then I've got, it automatically put me in here since I created this. So this is where I can go add more people to this group. And I don't want them to be able to add more people. Allie. So I can determine for each person as I'm adding them whether I want them to be able to do that. And I don't think you can change that after you've added them. You can just remove them from the group, but I don't see any other options in here for that particular setting. So one of them I did earlier, I just removed the whole person from the schedule and added them back, but I had to remove them from every single shift that they were already a part of. Okay, so, and this looks kind of wonky because it's in my because I've got this big screen resolution just for being able to share my screen with you. So it looks gigantic and weird, but it, yeah, so that's why it kind of looks awkward. Okay, so then I can reorder the groups on this screen. I can delete the group. And so, but here's my open shifts thing. So if I was in here and turned open shifts off, that's just, it looks like it's not going to allow people to view and request them. So I'm not sure exactly what the difference is and what it does here. I'm going to leave this turned off though. So I'll just go ahead and add a shift. Let's see. Add open shift. And I'm not sure if I just turned it off and then I didn't refresh it or something, so it's still there. So that could be a possibility. So when I'm adding a shift, I'm just adding it on one day. So this kind of confused me at first, because when I added a shift, I wanted to just, kind of what I thought was that I would just be adding the shift for every day of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from, 8 to 5. But when I'm adding a shift, I'm just adding it for one day. I definitely don't want to put it on Sunday. So let me go over to Monday and so there's a lot to do in this little ellipsis. You'll see the ellipses everywhere. So I'll go ahead and add an open shift. And then I'll just say 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. What color do I want that shift to be? So I can just determine what time that shift is. And I can say I can just make up a shift name for it. Now in my shift, I can say which group. So remember I created that little group of people. I can say which group of people it's for. And I can even say how many slots. So I'll need, 5 people in this shift. So I'm going to have 5 available slots. So that way people would be able to, add themselves or request to be in those slots. So then I have, say this is, just give it a note if you want. And then activities. So I can add activities. So activities are breaks. So I can say how long the break is. It's just any time when it's a break. And breaks are not paid. And then I'll add another activity. And then the other type of activity I have is lunch. So for lunch, I have to say what time. It doesn't look like it gives you the ability to just say any time. So I'm just going to say I want lunch to be from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. and I can say whether it's paid or not. So then I'm saving my shift. Steve says, I wonder if we could tie this to payroll systems or if Microsoft's building a payroll system. Oh, yeah, they built one. I forgot what it was called. I was part of some sort of trial for that, some sort of beta group. And I don't remember what it was called. That was a couple of years ago. Maybe it didn't pick up steam, but it was kind of, yeah, it was kind of like a QuickBooks type of thing. I'm not sure. But I don't think it had any well, of course this didn't exist yet, so who knows? Maybe it's connected, maybe it's not. I doubt it's connected, because this is so new. All right, so then I've got this shift for consulting. So what I can do now is I can just copy and paste it. Just do Control C, Control V. So that's how I put that same shift on all the days. So now I have this consulting open shift. And then I can say add shift, and I can add a shift. Now, right now, I'm just like making up a new shift name, blah. So I clicked next to my name. Let me show you where I clicked. I clicked next to me, and I just clicked add shift. So that doesn't add that open shift. It doesn't add the open shift. It's just, I'm just creating a brand new thing here. I'm just saying, like, this is your shift. So I just called it blah. So I didn't add myself to the consulting thing by doing that. Also, as you're making changes in here, it'll tell you you have edits ready to share, and it'll tell you how many edits you have to share across the bottom, because all the things you do in here aren't instantaneously seen by everyone, it gives you a chance to be able to like make all your changes at once and then hit share when you're done, just so then they see the final product and not just sort of like a half schedule. Okay, so then if I want to add people to this, I'll say assign open shift. So I assign open shift and I'll assign it to Alex. So now Alex is one of the, remember I added 5 slots to it? So he's one of the 5 slots. So I'm just going to edit my open shift and I'm going to change it down to only have 3. All right, so it's got 3 slots now available. Okay, so then I can go add assign open shift, and then I'll assign this one to Allie. And then what happens if I try to assign an open shift to myself when I'm already, ooh, now it's got both of them on my schedule. So let's see, what time is this one? That one's 8 to 5. And I'm also doing this from 8 to 5. So it didn't like do a conflict. It just put them both on my schedule. So I'll go remove this one. All right, so then I've got, now watch this. When I add assign open shift and I assign it to me, and then I've got, let's see, for this one, I'm going to, hold on, let me make this one so it's only got 3 slots so you can see what happens when it gets filled up. Assign it to each person. So that, see, as soon as I've used all the slots that were available for that open shift, it's not open anymore, right? So it's not an available shift. So let's go add another shift. I'll do, let's see, do my little ellipsis here, and I'll do add another open shift, and I'll say this one's going to be like later, so 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. I'll make it purple, night shift. So then I've only got 1 slot for the night shift. And I didn't put any breaks in there because it's only 1 hour. Okay, so now the open shifts is taller and it's got a night shift. And so I can go, now when I go assign the open shift, now it's not available anymore because it only had 1 slot and Allie's working for it. Yeah. Okay, so now I can share with the team. Now I've made all the changes I want to make, and I can decide whether I want to share this new shift with everyone. They'll get an email, or only share it with people that were part of, the changes that I made. So it's going to send them all an email. Okay, let's go flip over to the one that I created over here already. So I did a few things on here. So I've got this vacation day. So what people can do is they can go in here and add time off. So I can say, when do I want to have time off? And if it's not all day, I can determine a certain time frame. 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on, let's see, tomorrow. Like that, and save that. And then if I just click save and I don't click share, then I separately have to go ahead and click share. But if I just click share, it will save it and share it. Okay, so now she is taking vacation on a half day there. So let's see if this will give me a conflict. No, it just puts it on there. All right. Okay, so those are the vacation slots. Now, so another initial thing that I thought of when I started kind of playing around with this is, what if I'll go ahead and click share with the team again. Every time you see the little asterisks in the purple, that means you've made changes and you haven't shared it out yet. So you got to remember to share your changes. The next thing I think of is, what if this consulting work, this schedule, this right here, I need to do that every week. It needs to be identical every week. So what I can do is I can copy my schedule. So I can say, what schedule do I want to copy? So this one I created for, I just have to click the first day of the week and then click the last day of the week. So what time range am I copying? And then what time range am I copying it to? And I'll copy it to this time range. Let's see, I got to start, click where I want to start, and then end. Yeah, so it's kind of already, it was already selected. So it already kind of guessed that I want to copy it to the next week. And then whether I want to include, I can choose whether or not to include certain things like the shift notes, time off, activities, and things like that. Yes, Bruce, there is an approval process for time off. So I just haven't figured out how it works. So what I did was I went into this mobile app. I wish I could share my screen with you. This is so frustrating. Is there just like a quick out of the box, like couple of clicks way to share my mobile screen? I know I have an app. I just can't find it anywhere. You all are smart IT people, right? Okay. Anyway, so when I go into Teams, so I went ahead and logged into Teams as Billy Bob, one of these workers on the shifts. And the first thing I see in my feed is that a whole bunch of notifications, the fact that I published a new work schedule. Is that a thing to install, Bruce? I know you keep mentioning it. Is that something I have to install on my phone or on my computer? Duct tape. I know, just like shoom. There we go. So I'm waiting for you to answer me. Okay, so I see in my feed that I have a bunch of notifications that somebody published a new work schedule. So when I click on one of those, it takes me to this cool little screen that says your shifts. Okay, it's a free cell phone sharing app. All right, I'll try that real quick. We still got half an hour, right? And I'm not going to edit this out later. I'll just keep talking. So I have an iPhone. I can think of worse sort of sidetracks that I've had during Power Hour. Okay, so anyway, it gives you the ability to request time off, and it gives you the ability to request a shift and it has a leave request screen, but it doesn't, I can't find where it's going to someone to get approved, because just out of the box, as soon as I'm logged in as this end user, as soon as I fill in a leave request, it's immediately got a approve and decline button on the same screen. So it's asking me to approve my own request. Now I did notice that Chris checked in Flow, and there are some Staff Hub actions. Now Staff Hub's what this used to be. So there's some Staff Hub Flow actions. So to answer your question preemptively, and they're under the category Staff Hub. So there are a good bit of actions available, but since they're phasing out Staff Hub, I don't know if they just kind of forgot to remove those actions from the list of actions in Flow. So I would think that the actions would end up appearing under Teams for all this shift stuff, but we can take a look at them, and maybe they just need to relabel them and they'll just work for shifts. So y'all just let me know what you think so far of this concept about, like, do you think this is something your company would use? Do you have teams of people that need to have shifts? So one thing I did notice in the app is that I have this time clock, this ability to punch in. So I kind of mentioned that earlier. So when I punch in, I just click what shift I'm working, and I click just a big button to punch in, and then it says you're now on the clock. And then if I have the location awareness, it will know that I'm on the clock, but I'm not on location. And then it will have just a big button for me to stop my shift. And so it's a really easy, just punch in, punch out concept for those first line workers. So the first line workers would be in the Teams mobile app. It's possible that probably most first line workers, when you have this concept of first line workers, you think most of them are probably not just going to be sitting at a desk all day at a computer. Most of them are probably going to be out and about or working shifts, like, I don't know, in a restaurant or a factory or something like that. And they would just be using the Teams mobile app to be able to request time off, request leave, punch in and out and stuff like that. So that's mostly what they're going to be using. Yeah. Yeah. So Steve says, I have a small food bank that has Office 365 nonprofit tenant that needs to allow volunteers to sign up for kitchen shifts. This appears to have potential. Yeah, so that's perfect reason to use this open shifts concept, is to be able to have people that have that just want to be able to sign up for open slots. Like, what if you're a library and people need to be able to volunteer at the library? Now, the thing about this is only internal. This is only like actual users in your organization. This is not an anonymous thing. And so this is not going to be for guest users. This is only for people that actually have a license in your tenant. So you can't just have like random people off the internet signing up for shifts. Now, maybe there's a way to tie together like a Microsoft form that would be like a request form, and use some of those actions that talk to this service for like maybe anonymous people to be able to request something, but they wouldn't be able to use the app unless they're actually a user in your tenant. So I'm not sure if that, is a showstopper for anybody. Is there a great way to give shift data to a payroll system to track PTO, etc.? So a couple more things in here. I can export my schedule. So this gives me the ability to export, I'll just say like export a couple of weeks of this, and then I'll see what that looks like. And then it gives me the ability to print this. So I can even scale it down to one page. So that's pretty cool. Print scaling. Nice. So I can print the schedule. So that would be really nice. I could just print this and have it up on the wall or something like that. So I went ahead and I'll send that to not the printer, but I'll just do Adobe PDF. And that way I'll just quickly we'll look at it together. Just go to my desktop. All right. And then I had the ability so I showed you the copy schedule. I had these different ways of looking at it too. So I have the day, and the day slot is showing like the hours going across. And I can do staff per 30 minutes, which would make the whole thing even wider. And of course I can add people from here. But one of the things about the day one is that it's harder to go add the shifts, like request open shifts and stuff like that. Let me see. Let me go. I like the way it shows me the total hours too. Group total. So this is just, no wonder it's on a Sunday. So it tells me the group total for whatever time range I'm on. So like if I'm on a week, I have 46 hours, so I can quickly see the total and for this team. And then if I'm on the day view, I can quickly see the total hours that I'm using for the day. And I don't have any open shifts on this day. Let me go to the next day. So I have this open shift. So the problem with this, it's kind of a bug, I think, is that the ellipsis is like either hidden or something. I can't really see. There's no ellipsis on this open shift on the day view. So I also have a month view, and I could print that. That is weird looking. That is, yeah, look at that. So it's kind of sideways, I guess. So that would be interesting to see what that looks like being printed. I kind of like the week view, but it depends. So you can flip back and forth. And I can even determine what I want to group it by. If I want to view by people or just by shift. Ooh, look how cool. So when I view it by shift, it just shows me what my shifts are on the left side, and then how many people are assigned, and I can just hover over it to see who's assigned. So if I have a bunch of shifts, this is another way I could look at it. Kind of like the same concept as with Planner, where in Planner it gives you all these different views and different ways to group things and slice and dice them. So this is kind of just a built-in way of just having another way to look at this information. So I have this, where did I do that? I did it at the, export schedule. Oh, view options. So view by people or shift. And then do I want to show groups, open shifts, availability? So maybe I only want to show availability. So now I'm only showing availability on this view. I've got everything else filtered out. I'm not showing my open shifts. And maybe I don't want to see my groups. I could hide those. It kind of just ungroups everything, right? All right. No, I didn't try adding a guest user. Let's see. It says I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. That's weird. I am connected to Wi-Fi. Oh, I am not. Do I have a link to those articles? Yeah, Larry, the two links that I shared, that I'm not sure what articles you're talking about, or in the general channel, I shared a couple of links of just some help articles about how to use how to use this thing. All right, so I can print. So let's go look at what the printout looks like. Oh, that's kind of nice. So it scaled it down for me and it put in a nice, neat little page. So this is my team here. I've only got a schedule created for this first team. I didn't put schedules in I didn't do anything on these other two teams, but that's how it's going to show me. That's because I printed the week view. So you can go to a different view and hit print and be able to get different, different ways to look at it. All right, let me see. Let me try this. I think it's mirroring my device. Let's see. So is it supposed to just know what do I do with this QR code and everything? Let me see. I have a feeling that I'm supposed to have something on my desktop for this mirror app that you mentioned that I should have. Let's see. I think Microsoft's aware they have certain apps and features to not allow guest users. Power App's the one they're working to add guest user by October. Don't know if this applies to the Shift app. So yeah, Bruce, they announced that new Power Apps portals thing, but that is for model-driven apps, and the portals are for model-driven apps, and those are where you're going to have guest users. So I think that's the answer. It's not guest users for Canvas apps, but at least that's not what that is. I think that's the thing that they announced would be available by October. So it's a little misleading because to me, model-driven apps should not, and Power Apps should not even have the same name because they're completely different things. So let's see. A Power Mirror. Okay, I'll install it on both then. A Power Mirror. I'll just, install software on my computer while I'm doing a live broadcast. That's fun. I think I clicked download. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now, so do y'all have any questions about like this interface or the views and settings and things like that in here? Let's see, I've got my open shifts. Can add more open shifts. And again, the copy and paste, it's not obvious how you would make things go across multiple days, but that's how you do it. I can add a note to each day. Oh, that's interesting. Look, day notes. So this is a Sunday. And then, so like today is boss is doing an inspection. So then people would be able to see the notes just at the top. I'll go ahead and share that out. And people will be able to see the notes at the top. Let's see, it's a couple of questions. Okay, let's go look at the actions in here. Let me minimize that, and we'll go look at the flow actions. So those are the links that I set up, that I shared with you all. Okay, so there was this app setup policy thing, but the only thing it does is let you decide what users get it, but then all it consists of is what order the apps show in Teams. That's all this is. So this is kind of oh, this is that free account. Oh yeah, that's fun. I have to sign up for that now. All right, so this is picture when you go to Teams and you see all the little apps down the left side. This is where you can, as an admin, you can manage what order and what apps show down the left side. So by default, just my global org-wide default, this is what you see. This might look familiar, of what you see down the left in Teams. And then if I want to, I can have a, click cancel. I can define certain people that I want to see shifts maybe more prominently. So that's kind of what that's all about. And then we've also got in the tenant-wide settings, and this is where you can turn it on. So let's go to the tenant-wide settings and go to wait, hold on. They keep moving the tenant-wide settings. Settings, services, and add-ins. Right. Oh, so I'm on the Teams. So right now I'm in the Teams admin. I wasn't in the Office 365 admin. So I got a settings, services, and add-ins. So this is how we do that. Let me see. It's making me create an account, y'all. Come on now. I can't do that. I can't go create an account and do all that while I'm doing a live show. That's kind of a pain. Okay, I'm trying to find something for a team to show a calendar of activities in Teams. Oh, well, oh yeah, there we go. So, okay. Redetect. There we go. So it's working without me having to create an account. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, it's not going to let me do it until I create an account. See, that's what it keeps doing. God, that is a pain. Okay. Let's see. Can you create SharePoint events calendar and have it display as a tab in Teams? There is already a tab in Teams. So hold on. Let's look at. See, that is the thing that is going away. So Staff Hub is, that's not a thing anymore. So I'm surprised it actually let me click on Staff Hub because it's depreciated. Yeah, okay. It's retiring in October. So I'll go ahead and disable that for my organization. There we go. All right, not that I was ever using Staff Hub, but then I've also got Where's shifts? So shifts isn't listed here. Is it? No. See, it said, this looks totally different. Services and add-ins, Microsoft Teams. Okay. So yeah, Teams. Okay. Teams is already enabled. So I have to go to Teams. And then it's taking me to this old place. So it's all kind of awkward because some of the Teams admin stuff is still over here and most of it's been moved to the Teams whole separate admin interface. So here's where I have apps. See, yeah, they're in the process of moving it. So here's where I have shifts. Good Lord. Can you embed the shifts calendar to a tab in a channel? Well, it's kind of already there. So let's go look. So when I'm in Teams and I'm just like chatting with somebody, and so shifts is going to be one of the tabs there. So meetings is already, so somebody was asking about putting a calendar in Teams. That is your calendar. So that's the calendar you get in Teams. And then I have shifts, which is just another tab in here. So it's going to be a tab down the left. So maybe you're asking me if you add it as a tab across the top in the team. So let me see. No, it doesn't have shifts as it, because that would be kind of weird to have as a tab down the left and a tab across the top. So it's only going to be a tab down the left side to get over to shifts. Yeah. So yeah, it's already there. So there's no reason to go take it and embed it in a separate place. And then what else were you asking? Create a SharePoint events calendar and have it as display as a tab in Teams. Yeah, so that answers your question, right? Yeah, the calendar that's already in Teams. Let's see, and so I'll just kind of tell you what's on here. Okay, so it's got a little your shift screen. And it's got requests and open shifts. Let's see if you can see that. I know this is really, really cheesy. There you go. Requests, open shifts, and time clock. See that? So you can do the time clock, which is what lets you punch in. Requests will let you click the little plus in here to request time off. And it shows me in progress, requests I've already made. The problem is it's got, as soon as I request time off, by default, it just gave me an approve and a reject button. So I'm not sure why or how you would determine who is supposed to approve different people's time off. I haven't seen that. It hasn't been apparent anywhere in here. So yeah, if you're a member of multiple teams, you're going to see multiple shifts in here, and you could have multiple shifts that you're doing in one day, potentially in the same group of people. I can even go to this open shifts tab and it shows me a whole list of all the shifts that are available. And then I can go click a request button on a given shift. And then I can also click on a shift and I can click to swap. It's got a swap button on here. So I can click to swap if I want to trade shifts with somebody. And I can also offer. So it's got a swap and an offer button. So offer would mean, oh, I've got this, I've got to work from 5 to 9 in the restaurant. And I really just have this other thing I need to do that day. Maybe I can find somebody to trade shifts with me. Anybody ever been in that situation? So then they would click offer. And that would be offering to the team if anybody wants to swap shifts with you. So that's cool. Yeah. Thanks for making fun of me. So that's a cool way to let people just trade shifts just right inside of the app. Always be prepared. That's my motto. Okay. So there, let me go back to shifts and go in here. All right, so also, what else was I going to show you? Yeah, oh yeah, the flow stuff. So let's go look. So this was how you can enable shifts, but again, they're in the process of putting all these settings over in the Teams admin center. I just haven't found this exact same setting in the Teams admin center, so it's all kind of awkward right now when they kind of move that over. Okay, so let's go to Flow. And let's go take a look at, I hate this screen. All right, let's go take a look at, so remember I mentioned that Staff Hub was in here. So Staff Hub is probably still just in here because it's not fully retired yet, not till what, October. So there are a lot of actions in here, like when a member is deleted from the team, new members added, new shift is added. When a schedule is published, shift is deleted, shift request is updated, shift request is deleted, shift request is updated, shift request is created. So they seem really useful. And then for actions, oh, here we go, approve or swap or shift swap. So that's a preview feature to be able to approve the shift swap, approve or deny a time off request. So maybe to be able to use this stuff with the time off request that I saw in here, it would have to be done with like a flow automation. Like maybe there isn't just a built-in way, because Billy Bob, my fake user that I'm logged in as, does have a manager in my Active Directory, and it didn't send anything to the manager by default. So let's go look at Teams to see if they've moved those actions. So I would think that they'd be moving all those actions to be Teams actions. It doesn't look like they've done any of that. So hopefully all those things that were Staff Hub actions are now going to, either they'll rename Staff Hub here to be called shifts, which seems like that'd be easy, but maybe it's got a whole different back end. It works differently. I'm not sure. Maybe they'll rename it, or they'll move all those actions to Teams. So that's all in progress because it's a pretty new product. All right. Fun live TV. That was a fun one. That was interesting, kind of playing around with a completely new product that I'd never seen before. So this is definitely a good way to do, I think, to do a vacation calendar and to do to be able to see stuff like this in this manner, and all the people's names and who's going to be gone when and who's going to be working when. So I recommend trying it out. If you have a team of people, try it out and try using just the built-in functionality to see if that will do, make use of what you have to be able to do kind of what your team needs to do. So I'm clicking view shared schedule. Here's my shared schedule. Anyway. All right, so that is here, and it's shifts. Oh, he said you're already using this as a replacement to a SharePoint vacation calendar. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. I'm trying to skim through here and see any questions. So I think I addressed the approval process for time off. So yeah, Lisa, for your operations center, that seems like that would be perfect for that, like retail and factories. At some point, like 10 minutes ago, I flipped over to the general channel because I was looking at a link or something, and then I missed some conversation. I think it's odd that it's only within each team gets its own schedule, but I mean, I guess it makes sense in a way. Like if you have different teams for different like locations in your company, like different, like if I have an Atlanta branch and I have, a Charleston branch and I have different branches of the company that maybe have their own team, then they would have their shift schedule in their team, right? Does the user have to be a member of the team to add them to a group? I don't think so. Let me see. That is a good question. Let me look at that real quick. So here's my item inventory training team. And no, so here are, let's see. No, I have people that I added as part of the schedule that are not here in this list of members of the group. So apparently it's not going to limit you. That's a little weird. What else? I think I covered I think I covered all the questions. I was kind of trying to skim through. There's a lot of conversation going on in this power hour, so and Joelle's not here to kind of help field the questions and help me, to point out the ones that I missed. And so I'm like, let me know if I forgot anything, but it's time to wrap up. So that was a pretty cool, interesting little piece of software. And at some point between now and the next demo I do, I will figure out that, create myself a free account for that app that lets you share your screen, which I've installed one before and I just couldn't remember what it was called. Anyway, so thanks all of you for coming. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing next week. We do have an ideas channel in here where we sort of type ideas in here and vote for them by just using the little thumbs up. I'll just put a little link to it in here. Ideas. You could just click that to go to the ideas channel. And then you'll see other people's ideas. You put the thumbs up and I put them over in the, I put little stars next to them, next to the ones that I thought were good ideas that we can vote for. But you can add new ones. So I'm not sure off the top of my head what Microsoft will be coming out with next, or what will be finally, rolled out, some of the things we've been looking forward to. So I'm not sure what we're doing next week, but thanks everybody for being here. Over and out.